And this is the question. This is what I was talking about. People have so many questions. How, when you take a step back and you listen to this and you think that you're going to Bible study, you're shooting guns and learning to hate people, and let's just be specific about this: black people using the N-word, Jewish people using the horrible words, K words, Asian people, gay people, whatever it may be. And then you go have your Sunday lunch afterwards and you shoot guns. What was their message powerful? Looking back, was it something that I don't want to use the term lacking, but when you're a kid and you're younger, or even adults, sometimes they just people can be preyed upon. If they're looking for, I don't know, a sense of purpose, acceptance. How were you able to not see what you see now?
When I look back at myself back then, it was I was primed for this stuff. I was a shooken up soda bottle, just waiting for someone to take the cap off and spray me in any direction they wanted. Who knows, if maybe that summer I would have spent time with left-wing guerrillas and I'd be down in Colombia right now. Who knows? This just happened to be it was a horrible cliche, but it was the perfect storm. I had, you got to know that I feared as a kid going home with my stepfather. I feared going to school, and now people are fearing me. And I love that feeling. And to make it that it's a purpose. I still am I'm a broken human being. I was broken. My brain doesn't think right sometimes. And I, it's a mental illness almost. Almost all racism and hatred and thugism is a mental illness, because you honestly believe what you're doing is right, even though it's absolutely wrong. Real crazy people don't know they're crazy. It's the fake crazy people. Them guys that run around, I'm crazy, but they're always the first guy to get knocked out in a fight because they're not real crazy. A real crazy guy doesn't tell you he's crazy, he just stabs you.
Show you crazy,
right?
Yeah.
And for everybody out there listening, if you want to know about crazy people in this book, you are going to run into some very crazy characters and some very crazy scenarios that really are going to take you all across the northeastern portion of the United States. I wanted to ask you, when did you, it's interesting, as you pointed out, you kind of use a recovery metaphor for your title and some of the things that we're talking about now, which makes sense. And in recovery, people talk about hitting lows. Did you hit a low when you had a point when you just said, obviously you had to, you're now reformed, we're going to jump into that next. When did you know that you had hit a low and you needed to change? When you finally, enough?
It wasn't, see, when I was a drug addict and alcoholic, there was easy times to pick the lows, living in crack houses, shooting up on top of train trestles, they're lows. What had happened was, I went to a meeting one night with all my skinhead friends in Philly after I got out of the penitentiary. And when I went to that meeting, I was thinking about some of my friends that I mentioned in the book, and just other people that had kind of come into my life and changed me, and they were different colored people, And as I was at this meeting, we were actually in the meeting with New York skinheads. They came down, we were trying to build our alliance back up together, because we had a good alliance, but then, like, internationally with all gangs, a girl got in between us, and then
it's always a girl messing up the bands, the skinhead gang. See, there's some things that are universal.
Right. Okay. So eventually, I think that girl moved on to another crew, and so we said, hey, let's get back together. And I went to that meeting, and I hadn't seen my daughter in a while, and what had happened was this one skinhead kept talking about Italians ain't white, and I had heard this talk before, and I'm half Irish, half Italian, and something happened where I just seen my boys weren't really my boys that night. And I was in deep thought and even a depression, I would say. So that night I'd come to this conclusion that on most race issues I'm wrong. And I explain it more in the book, it'd take a while. But one of the things I still held on to was this hatred for Jews. Because I was like, there's got to be something right here. Something I believed for so long and so hard had to be right. So I was like, it's just going to take it as the Jews then. And what happened was, I could put it to this: if you walk into a room and your friends are playing Monopoly and you don't know how to play Monopoly, what's the first thing when they say, hey, come play this game with us? You're going to say, I hate that game. That game is stupid. Or if someone, hey, come watch hockey, but you don't understand hockey. I hate that game. It's stupid. But if you know what icing is, it's the greatest game on earth. Well, this hatred for Jews I tried to keep, and then finally a Jewish guy gives me a job in an antique business. And I used to do this thing, and here's where the bottom. I used to do this all the time when I would break something, knock something over. It was ingrained in my head that I'm stupid. And it probably came from my stepfather, but I won't psychoanalyze it. I just always thought I was real. I might try to act smart, but secretly I knew I was stupid. So I'd always say it when it would just come out. And I wouldn't say I'm stupid like skinny girls that go, I'm fat. So everyone goes, no, you're not fat, you're beautiful, baby. You know, I didn't say it like that. I just said I'm stupid. And Keith one day just said, stop saying you're stupid. And this is the Jewish guy. He said, stop saying you're stupid. You're one of the most street smartest people I've ever met. And he gave me this little life pep talk. And I still have this Nazi belief, this last Nazi belief I'm trying to hold on to. And I look over at this guy, and we're driving through North Jersey that day. So there ain't nothing to look at in North Jersey. You know, we're just driving, trying to get back home. And I'm listening to him, and I keep looking over at him. And I just thought, how grateful am I? How grateful am I to have this human being in my life right now? And as he's talking to me like this, I look down, and I have my boots on, my red laces. Just embarrassed, completely embarrassed of what I believed.
That's not all.
That's
not all.
Hold on
Speaking
to
of being
something.
grateful, Frank was talking about being grateful. I am grateful to have a job, but that means I got to
That's
pay
right.
the bills. We got to
Please
pay the
do.
bills here. We're going to a commercial break to pay those bills,
Mm-hmm.
and
Gotta
then we
keep the
come
lights
back.
on.
When we come back, we're gonna hear more from Frank. Okay?
Yeah.
So
The first half was great, right? So I can't wait to,
I know,
to share the rest.
exactly.
It's
I
good.
can't wait to share the
Nice.
rest. We can't wait to share the rest with you all. So get prepared.
That's right. Get ready.
Get ready.
Awesome talking to him, though. He's really super cool and down to earth, man. It's good.
Exactly. And before we actually go to break, I want to remind everybody again. I know I said it in the interview. Amazon.com.
That's right.
And I made it really easy. If you go to the homepage, chataboutit.com, and our page, click on the book cover. You'll go directly to Amazon.com. You can order that. Let's pay the bills. Let's
Just
come
that.
back and hear the rest of Frank's
Yeah,
story.
yeah. Good.